Hello students, chapter is redox reaction, which is unit 8 of your class 11 syllabus, lecture number 3. In this lecture, we are going to talk about what is oxidation and reduction, and we will discuss the definition of oxidation and reduction in terms of oxidation state or oxidation number. What is oxidation state or oxidation number? We have discussed in detail in lecture 2 of this chapter. If you have any difficulty in finding the oxidation state or oxidation number of an element, you can go back, watch lecture 2 of this chapter, and then you can come back to understand this lecture properly. What next we will talk about in this lecture? You must remember we will also talk about why this definition of oxidation and reduction it is more important in chemistry compared to the other definitions that we have studied. We will also talk about what is a reducing agent and what is an oxidizing agent in chemistry. And finally, I will tell you what are the different types of reactions that could be redox reactions. So this is the focus of this chapter. Let's start. First of all, in terms of oxidation state, you must be able to define what is oxidation and what is reduction. Always remember, in terms of oxidation state or oxidation number, oxidation is an increase in the oxidation number or oxidation state of an element. Whenever during a chemical reaction there is an increase in the oxidation state of an element, that is known as oxidation. Simply, if you remember this definition, then it becomes quite obvious how to define reduction, because reduction is opposite, it is reverse to oxidation. If during oxidation the oxidation number of an element is increasing, then what would be reduction? Reduction, it is a decrease in the oxidation state of an element. So this is how you can differentiate between oxidation and reduction of an element during a chemical reaction based on this definition. Now one more thing, always remember this definition, it is most important, it is most dominating whenever we study oxidation and reduction. This definition, why it is more important? Because this definition it is applicable to all types of chemical reactions, to all types of chemical compounds. The other definitions that we have studied, they have some limitations, but this definition it has no limitation. You can apply this definition whether you have been given an ionic compound or you have been given a covalent compound. Second thing, with the help of this definition, it is easy to decide whether a reaction is redox reaction or not. How is that? On the next slide, I will explain it to you that how with the help of oxidation state, oxidation number definition, we can decide whether a reaction is redox or not. And then with the help of this definition, it is also quite simple to do calculations related to redox reactions, to do calculations related to electrochemistry. So these are some of the points that you must remember whenever it is asked why this definition it is important to understand redox reactions. Now let's solve some questions based on this definition. You will get to know how to decide which element has been oxidized and which element has been reduced during a chemical reaction. Let's suppose we are having a chemical reaction of carbon with sulfuric acid. During this reaction, carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide and water will be produced. Now whenever you are asked that which element is being oxidized and which element is being reduced, what is the first step that you must follow? First of all, you must write down the oxidation number or oxidation state of each atom involved in this chemical reaction. That is the first step. Now we know how to find the oxidation state. If someone is having some problem, I will again request go back, watch lecture number 2 where we have explained it thoroughly how to find the oxidation number or oxidation state of an element. Once you know, then it will become very simple. What you will do, you will write down the oxidation state for each atom present in the given compound. After writing the oxidation state, what you will look at, is there an element whose oxidation state it is increasing, or is there an element whose oxidation state is decreasing? Look at carbon. Yes, carbon, its oxidation state is 0 before the reaction, but its oxidation state has become 4 positive after the reaction. So what we can say? We can say carbon, it has undergone oxidation. Why? Because oxidation number of carbon, it has increased from 0 to positive 4. So this is the reason why we can say that it is easy with the help of this definition in terms of oxidation state to decide whether a reaction is redox or not. Second thing, always remember, if an element is oxidized during a chemical reaction, there must be an element with reduction, because without reduction oxidation is not possible, and without oxidation reduction is not possible. So let's see. Look at hydrogen, its oxidation state before the reaction positive 1, after the reaction positive 1, no change. Sulfur, its oxidation state before the reaction positive 6, after the reaction positive 4. So what you can see, the oxidation state of sulfur, it has decreased. Whenever oxidation state of an element is decreased, that element undergoes reduction. Reason you can write down, since its oxidation number is decreasing from positive 6 to positive 4. Now if you look at oxygen, oxygen before the reaction negative 2, after the reaction it is negative 2. So the two elements we have identified, one has been oxidized, other has been reduced. Now when you have identified that one element has been oxidized and other has been reduced, you can classify this reaction as a redox reaction. So this is very simple. If you know how to write down the oxidation state, oxidation number, within seconds you can decide whether a reaction is a redox reaction or not. Next thing, you must remember, whenever an element undergoes oxidation during a chemical reaction, that element which undergoes oxidation, it is known as reducing agent or reductant. Element that itself undergoes oxidation, it is known as reducing agent. Why it is known as reducing agent? Because element that itself is oxidized, it reduces others. Element that itself is oxidized, it reduces others. So what does this mean? What function it has performed? The name reducing agent is given to an element based on its function. Carbon, it has reduced other element, that is why it is a reducing agent. But what has happened to the carbon itself? Carbon has been oxidized. So remember, whenever an element is oxidized, it is a reducing agent, and whenever an element is reduced, it is an oxidizing agent. Because if an element itself is reduced, it would have helped other element to undergo oxidation. So remember, in this example, carbon, it is the reducing agent. Reducing agents are also known as reductant. Two examples I can tell you that you can remember as general examples of reducing agent, common reducing agent we use in chemistry are potassium iodide and sulfur dioxide. These are two common reducing agents or reductant we use in chemistry. Next come, as I have already told you, sulfur, it is the oxidizing agent. Oxidizing agents are also known as oxidant. Now what is oxidizing agent? Just remember, whatsoever is the function, that is the name. Oxidizing agent that oxidizes others, but what happens to itself? Itself is reduced. So in the exam simply you can write down oxidizing agent that is itself is reduced, or you can write down complete definition. Substance that oxidizes others but itself is reduced, it is oxidant. Common oxidizing agent that you can remember, we use very commonly in chemistry, potassium manganate 7 KMNO4, potassium dichromate 6 K2Cr2O7. So now I hope this example would have made it very clear to you what is a reducing agent, what is an oxidizing agent. Just remember the simple definition. No need to remember any complex definition. Simply remember reducing agent itself, it is oxidized. Oxidizing agent itself, it is reduced. That's it. Now I am giving you some examples, student. Just pause the video and decide which element in these example it is undergoing reduction, which element is undergoing oxidation. Also name the reducing and oxidizing agent. Okay students, if you have done this example, just look at the answer. I am showing you the answer for this. First of all, we will write down the oxidation state. Then we will find, is there any change in the oxidation state? Look at Pb. Its oxidation state is 4 positive, after the reaction 2 positive. What does this mean? It means Pb, it has been reduced during this reaction. So when it has been reduced, what will be the name of this agent? It will be oxidizing agent, because itself it has been reduced. Move on. Oxygen, 2 negative, 2 negative, no change in the oxidation state of oxygen. Leave it. Moving on. Hydrogen, no change in the oxidation number of hydrogen. Chlorine, its oxidation state is -1 before the reaction. After the reaction, its oxidation state has become 0. There is an increase from -1, from 1 negative to 0. Increase in oxidation state is known as oxidation. So chlorine has been oxidized, Pb has been reduced. Pb is the oxidizing agent, chlorine is the reducing agent. I hope you would have done this question. You would have write down the answer to this question correctly. Move on. I'm giving you one more example. Okay, students, if you have solved it, let's see again the oxidation state. I'm writing. Now look at copper. Here copper is +1. After the reaction, copper is 0. So there is a decrease in the oxidation state. Copper has been reduced. Copper, it is an oxidizing agent. Oxygen, no change. Sulfur, from -2 it has become +4. There is an increase mathematically. There is an increase in the oxidation number of sulfur. So sulfur has been oxidized. What does this mean? Sulfur is the reducing agent. One more example. Now this is a special example. Solve it carefully. Okay students, if you have solved this example, I am showing you the answer for this example. Look at the oxidation state. What you can see, the oxidation state of chlorine before the reaction 0. After the reaction, it has become -1 here. 0 to -1, decrease. Decrease in oxidation state is known as reduction. Chlorine has been reduced. Hydrogen, no change. Oxygen, no change. Then what does this mean? It means in this example, as I told you, this is a unique example. Why? In this case, you can see chlorine, it has been reduced, as well as chlorine has been oxidized. So this is a special type of chemical reaction in which same element has been oxidized as well as reduced. What you must remember, this type of chemical reaction in which same element undergoes reduction as well as oxidation. This special type of redox reaction, it is known as disproportionation. It is known as disproportionation. So always remember, whenever during a redox reaction same element undergoes reduction as well as oxidation, it is known as disproportionation. Okay student, let's move on to the last end of this lecture and discuss what are the types of redox reaction, or you can say that what are different reactions which can be classified as redox reaction. Remember, there can be four types of chemical reactions which can be redox in nature. What are the four types of redox reaction which can have redox nature? Number one, combination reactions. Combination reactions, they are also known as addition reaction. They are also known as synthesis reaction. Combination reactions, they can be known as addition reactions, or they can also be known as synthesis reaction. Second type, decomposition reaction. Decomposition. Decomposition reactions are also known as cracking. Number three, displacement reactions. Displacement reactions are also known as substitution reaction. And the fourth type, I have already told you, it is disproportionation reaction. So you must remember, there can be four types of redox reaction in chemistry. First of all, combination or addition or synthesis. What is combination reaction? Whenever two or more than two materials, whenever two or more than two substances, they combine and they give us one product, it is addition, it is combination, it is synthesis. So simply what you must remember, whenever you have been given a reaction with one product only, it is addition, it is combination, it is synthesis. For example, if you just mix two elements like carbon and oxygen, but you can see the final product, it is a single product. Whenever we get a single product, it is combination, it is addition, it is synthesis. Now how you will decide whether this is a redox reaction or not? Write down the oxidation state of each atom. What you can see, during this reaction, carbon, its oxidation state is increasing from 0 to positive 4. So carbon is undergoing oxidation. Oxygen, its oxidation state is decreasing. Oxygen is undergoing reduction. So this is a combination reaction, that is a redox reaction. Decomposition reaction, it is the reverse of combination. In decomposition, we have single reactant. In combination, we have single product. In decomposition, we have single reactant. When single reactant is converted into two or more than two substances, it is decomposition. For example, you can see this potassium chlorate 5, KClO3, potassium chlorate 5. Now this is decomposed into potassium chloride and oxygen. If you look at the oxidation state of each element, you can see potassium, no change in the oxidation number. Chlorine, from positive 5, it has become negative 1. So chlorine has been reduced. Chlorine has undergone reduction. Look at oxygen, negative 2, it has become 0. Oxygen has been oxidized, chlorine has been reduced. So this is a redox reaction. But there are some exceptions to this reaction. There are some decomposition reactions that are not redox reaction. For example, look at this example. And if you write down the oxidation number of each atom, look at calcium, positive 2, positive 2, carbon, positive 4, positive 4, oxygen, negative 2, negative 2. Now you can see this is not a redox reaction because there is no change in the oxidation number of any element. Then you can ask that how you will decide that whether a decomposition reaction is a redox reaction or not. It is very simple. A very simple trick that I can tell you to decide whether a decomposition reaction is redox reaction or not. What is that trick? Simply look at the product. Whenever decomposition product of a reaction include at least one element, a product in the elemental form, that would be redox reaction. Look at the product, what I mean. Potassium chlorate, it has 3 elements. It changes into potassium chloride. It has 2 elements, but it is a compound. Oxygen gas, it has one element only. You get one element, so this is redox. But look at this. In this case, you are getting two products. Both the products are compounds. Whenever both the products are compound, that would not be a redox reaction. So for a decomposition reaction to be a redox reaction, one of the product must be an element. This is a trick that you can remember for deciding decomposition reaction to be redox reaction. Moving on, displacement reaction. It is also known as substitution reaction. Whenever one atom takes the place of another atom, it is known as substitution or displacement reaction. Now remember, this displacement reaction can be the displacement of metal or it can be displacement of a non-metal. In both these cases, whether a more reactive metal displaces a less reactive metal or a more reactive non-metal displaces a less reactive non-metal. In both these cases, the displacement or the substitution reaction, they would be redox reaction. I am giving you example. Now look at this example. This is a substitution reaction when one more reactive metal is displacing another less reactive metal. If you write down the oxidation state, you can come to know during this reaction chromium, it has been reduced. Chromium has been reduced while aluminum, it has been oxidized. So this is a metal-metal displacement and it is a redox reaction. Now non-metal displacement, in this case what you can see, fluorine, it has displaced oxygen. And if you look at the change in oxidation state, oxygen, it has been oxidized because its oxidation state, it has increased from -2 to 0, and the oxidation state of fluorine, it has decreased, so fluorine has been reduced. So you can see displacement reactions, they would always be redox reaction. The last example, I have already explained it to you. What is a disproportionation reaction? Whenever during a redox reaction, same element undergoes reduction as well as oxidation, it is known as disproportionation reaction. Now you can remember one more example in this case. If we make the reaction of bromine with sodium hydroxide, now this is a disproportionation reaction. Why this is a disproportionation reaction? If you write down the oxidation state, what you will come to know? You will come to know that during this reaction, bromine, it has been oxidized from 0 to 5 positive. Bromine has been oxidized, and at the same time bromine has been reduced from 0 to -1. So what you can remember, this proportionation reaction, when same element, it undergoes oxidation as well as reduction. Now this is all about the different types of redox reaction. One last thing, students, to sum up this lecture, I would like to share with you people. Sometime you can be given compounds like this. These are special type of compound. What is this? This is carbon suboxide. The name of this compound is carbon suboxide. If I ask to find the oxidation state of each element in this case, what you will come to know? Oxygen, highly electronegative, you know its oxidation state would be negative. Negative how much? -2. And there are how many oxygen? -2 into 2, -4. So oxygen is having a total charge, a total oxidation state of -4. So what should be the oxidation state of carbon? It must be positive, and there is 4 negative, carbon must have +4. But we are having how many atoms of carbon? 3. What will be the oxidation number of one carbon atom? +4 divided by 3, 4 by 3, +4 by 3. This is the oxidation state of carbon that we have found. Whenever you find oxidation state of an element in decimal, in fraction, remember that is incorrect. Why? It is not possible that oxidation state, it could be a fractional value or it can be a decimal value. Where is the mistake? The mistake we will come to know when we will write down the structure of the given compound. If we will not write down the structure, then our answer will be incorrect. Look at the structure of this carbon suboxide and you will come to know that the oxidation state that we have found, it is incorrect. This is the structure of carbon suboxide. Look at this carbon. This carbon on both sides, it is bonded to carbon. So this carbon would not have any charge. Why not? Because this carbon is attracting electron from the carbon atom. So both the carbon will attract electrons with equal force. So neither any charge will be developed on this carbon or on this carbon with respect to this bond. So remember, the oxidation state of this carbon is 0. But look at this carbon. This carbon is bonded to oxygen on one side. And what is the oxidation state of oxygen? -2. If oxygen is -2, what should be this carbon? It must be +2. Likewise, this oxygen is -2. So this carbon would be +2. So -2, -2, +2, 0, +2, -2. So remember, whenever you are given a compound and you found the oxidation state in a decimal or fractional value, remember it would be incorrect. You must write down the structure of that compound and then you can come to know the exact oxidation number of different elements. I am giving you one example. You can pause the video and find the oxidation state of each atom. Okay student, if you have solved this example, what you can see from this formula, oxygen is -2, but there are 6 oxygen. -2 into 6, -12, -12. Sodium can neutralize how much charge? +2, because one oxygen can provide a share of +1 into 2, +2. This was total -12, +2, -10. -10 charge of oxygen is still unneutralized. So what you will do? Sulfur, it must be +10, but we are having 4 sulfur. +10 divided by 4. What should be the oxidation number of sulfur in this case? It should be 10 divided by 4, +2.5. Again a decimal value. So it means this is incorrect. What we will have to do? We will have to write down the structure of tetrathionate ion, S4O6. It is known as tetrathionate. When you will write down its structure, what you must remember, all the 4 sulfur, they would have bond with each other first of all. 4 sulfur having bond with each other. The normal valency of sulfur is 2. So the central 2 sulfur, they have completed their bond. The sulfur which are on the sides, they would be bonded to oxygen atom. There are 6 oxygen, so both the sulfurs which are present on the terminal, they would be bonded with 3 oxygen each. Likewise, this sulfur. Now what is the charge on those oxygen atoms which are present on the terminal? Since they have made one bond, they would be having a charge of -1. Now what you can see, these sulfur, they would have an oxidation number of 0 because they are bonded to sulfur, same atom. This sulfur, it is bonded to 3 oxygen, 2, 1, 2. So what will be the charge on this sulfur? +5, because 3 oxygen, they are attracting electron from this sulfur with the help of 5 bonds. So oxygen would create positive charge on this sulfur of +5, and this sulfur would also be +5. So students, whenever you have been given this type of compound where you find that the oxidation state, oxidation number is a fractional value, always remember that is incorrect. So you must work out oxidation state after writing the structure. I hope I would have made this lecture interesting for you. You would have understood this concept. If you have any question, you can give your feedback and you can write down your question in the comments below. Thank you for your time. Bye.